Hi everyone, and this is the second stage of developing a nutrition plan for one of my clients, or you can use this as a self-diagnosis to use in your own personal diet plans. Hopefully you learn something from these videos and something you can apply to yourself. So this is following on from my last video, which is about how I would look at the gut and how it functions and how that contributes to progressing in someone's personal goals, nutritional goals. So my second stage, it will concentrate on detoxifying the body. So this stage will be more steered towards people with fat loss goals, and it also would be more steered towards someone who has had this sort of exposure for a long period of time. What I mean by toxins is chemicals, so chemicals that have been added in our everyday foods. It can also be cosmetic products as well. Majority of foods, I think, is going to be the thing that's going to hinder us the most. So first of all, let me explain why this should be considered. Over the last few years where I have been personal training, a lot of my clients have come forward to me with issues where they can't lose body fat, and I've put them on numerous different protocols, also tidying up the gut function as well. So obviously that was a little bit frustrating, so I started to look at stuff on how toxin exposure can affect your ability to lose fat. So I started to look at some studies on which have been done, and look at a few people who like to look at toxins and how they affect the body. So, and a lot of studies concluded that toxins do in fact, over a period of time, can have adverse effects on the body. What I mean by this, it usually affects on how hormones regulate. So let me briefly explain what hormones do in the body and how this is going to affect us. So hormones are what regulate the body, so these have to be at a balance for all natural functions to occur within the body. So in relation to that as well, I've looked at other studies as well that suggest that hormones actually mimic, so toxins mimic the functions of hormones, so making it difficult then for natural hormones to do their job. I'm not going to go too much into the science of it, but I'm just going to go through the basics today. So these are a few things you could do to counteract the toxin exposure and how to start to think about cleaning this out of your own body. So first you have to bear in mind that exposure to toxins can affect you over a longer period of time, and I think this applies to quite a few of us as well, especially because if we can't really help it, we've seen it's what's on our shelves, and that's what we're going to consume. So the remedy is quite similar to what I would do to someone cleaning up the gut. So yeah, they work like quite hand in hand, or you could do them necessarily at the same time as well. So what you need to do, like before, have a nice whole food diet. So have single ingredient foods, every item you get. Also take out junk foods, processed foods. These are all things that are chemically rich, which over time you've got these toxins which affect the body. I think another big one is also looking at the meat you buy. Unfortunately, in our day and time, farmers are having increased pressure, say from supermarkets, and also feeding the ever-growing population which we have now. So it's not uncommon to get shortcuts to try and make more meat, or say I'll make it more like cheaper for supermarkets to get, and get it out there to consumers. So companies have been known to pump the cattle's full of antibiotics. This is a remedy which they use to counteract disease or a potential disease within the confinement, because cattle, they use it together, and that means they excrete, and you say in close confinement should only bring on disease. So yeah, they're going to pump it full of antibodies to counteract that. So it's going into our meat, and then we consume the meat. So that's going to obviously have a knock-on effect over time. We can actually build up a resistance to antibiotics. So not only what doctors prescribe to us to take orally to help us get better, but also our own natural antibodies which we produce in our own bodies. So as you can tell, over time that is going to be a massive effect on your overall health in the future. So a good rule of thumb to follow is get yourself a good butcher. Get a butcher who works with farms where the cattle is free to roam around and graze. Usually that gets out cuts out the middleman with like all natural occurrences like putting in antibiotics, etc. I think as well, you can do the same with chickens and getting like eggs. Make sure it's all free range food. I suppose you've got to think as well why this is so important. You'd never get a recipe for one of your favourite meals and remember to put lots of chemicals in there. You wouldn't look at the back, see a processed food, and remember to put all these harmful chemicals in there when you're starting to prepare a meal. So just bear that in mind. Right, so there are a few things which you can follow, a few basic things which it could help you over a long period of time. So that concludes my second episode. Remember to subscribe to my channel, and I'll be getting the next stage over to you very soon. Okay, thanks for watching.